Hello and welcome back to Perspectives. On today's show, we have the curious case of an Indian national arrested in California, labelled by the FBI as a Khalistani, yet India claims he's a member of the Bishnoi gang. Is there a bigger agenda at play, infecting Trump's new FBI? And talking of leaders, Keir Starmer is now increasingly being held to account by the British Sikh community. Lots of promises but little delivery, and evidence is now emerging that India is involved. More on that in a moment. Politics in Canada mounts up as electioneering moves in on Vaisakhi, and we have the story of Conservative candidate or a Conservative candidate in Canada's election with strong links to a controversial Punjabi policeman accused of human rights abuses against Sikhs. Well, all this and more on today's show. But joining me, as always, for Perspectives is our very own correspondent in Canada, James Cousineau. Good morning, James.
Good morning, Angus, and good morning to our viewers out there. I saw a tremendous amount of activity on our chat boards and our comments, so thank you very much. Keep them coming. We love reading them. We love to be involved and interact with you as you're a big part of the show. So thanks for tuning in to another episode, and back to you, Angus.
We certainly do. And James and I together will be bringing you our perspectives on the daily news affecting the Sikh community across the world. And yes, indeed, as usual, we will take a look at loads of great comments at the end of the show. So do stay tuned for that. Right, James, a lot to get through today. What are you going to start us off with this morning?
Well, let's kick off the show with a video of course, Vaisakhi once again. Now, when I was there, it was a great event. However, there were a few things that happened, and it is still worth sharing with you, and that was the speech by Sukh Dhaliwal. Now, I've heard him speak on the campaign trail. He is a current sitting member of Parliament in Canada, and of course, he is a candidate to be re-elected. Now, the only issue with his speech was that it was in Punjabi, so I personally couldn't understand it, but I have, as I said, heard other speeches from him during this candidacy and during this campaign. So again, I get the gist of where he is going, what direction he is going in, and his dedication to community, not only to the Sikh community, but to the Canadian society as a whole, as well as our integrity, our sovereignty, and of course, our security. So here we have a bit of a clip of him speaking again in Punjabi. So maybe some of our viewers can share with us a translation of the overall picture. But again, as I said, because I've seen him already at various events with his English campaign and speeches, I pretty much have a good bearing on what he was saying.
मैं देखदा ਤਾਂ ਅੱਜ ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਟਰੰਪ ਨੂੰ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ, ਚਾਹੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ ਇਕਨੋਮੀ ਨੂੰ ਠੀਕ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ, ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਭਵਿੱਖ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ, ਤਾਂ ਮਾਰਕ ਕਾਰਨੀ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਟੀਮ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਟਰੋਡਿਊਸ ਕਰਾਉਂ। ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਫਾਰ ਰਾਈਟ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਲ ਮਕਨਾਈਟ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਨਾਲ ਦੀ ਕਾਂਸਟੀਚੁਐਂਸੀ ਡੈਲਟਾ ਤੋਂ ਚੋਣ ਮੈਦਾਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਨੇ, ਔਰ ਡੈਲਟਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਕੱਲਾ ਬਾਉਂਡਰੀ ਪਾਰਕ ਸਰੀ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਪਾਰਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਜਿਲ ਮਕਨਾਈਟ ਦੀ ਰਾਈਡਿੰਗ 'ਚ ਨੇ, ਔਰ ਜਿਲ ਲੋਣੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਡੈਲਟਾ 'ਚ ਹੀ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੋਏ, ਇੱਥੇ ਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੇ ਕਾਰੋਬਾਰ ਕੀਤਾ, ਔਰ ਅੱਜ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਡੈਲਟਾ ਚੇਂਬਰ ਆਫ ਕਾਮਰਸ ਦੀ CEO ਦੇ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨਿਭਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਔਰ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਉਮੀਦਵਾਰ ਨੇ। ਔਰ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਾਊਥ ਸਰੀ ਵਾਈਟ ਰੌਕ ਦੀ, ਸਾਊਥ ਸਰੀ ਵਾਈਟ ਰੌਕ ਤੋਂ ਅਰਨੀ ਕਲਾਸਨ ਇਲੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਲੜ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਔਰ ਵਾਈਟ ਰੌਕ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਨੇ, ਸਮਾਲ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਰਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ, ਔਰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਵੋਟਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਵਾਈਟ ਰੌਕ ਚੋਂ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਬਣੇ, ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਚੋਣ ਮੈਦਾਨ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਾਊਥ ਸਰੀ ਵਾਈਟ ਰੌਕ। ਔਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਾਇਲ ਲੈਚਫੋਰਡ ਇਹ ਕਲੋਵਰਡੇ ਲੈਂਗਲੀ ਸਿਟੀ ਤੋਂ ਚੋਣ ਮੈਦਾਨ 'ਚ ਨੇ। ਇਹ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜੌਨ ਐਲਡਕ ਜੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਰਮ ਪਿਆਰੇ ਮਿੱਤਰ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਏ ਹੋਏ ਸੀ, ਹਾਜ਼ਰੀ ਲਵਾ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਆ, ਗੁਰੂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਨਮਸਤਕ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਗਏ, ਸੰਗਤਾਂ ਦੇ ਚਰਨ ਧੂੜ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗਏ ਆ। ਉਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਚੋਣ ਲੜ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਲੈਂਗਲੀ ਟਾਊਨਸ਼ਿਪ ਫਰੇਜ਼ਰ ਹਾਈਟਸ ਤੋਂ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਾਇਲ ਲੈਂਡਸਫੋਰਡ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਲੰਮਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ। ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ, ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ, ਸਾਊਥ ਏਸ਼ੀਅਨ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਲੋੜ ਪਈ ਆ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਜੌਨ ਐਲਡੈਗ ਨੇ ਰੋਲ ਅਦਾ ਕੀਤਾ, ਇਹ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਸਟਾਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸੀਗੇ, ਤਾਂ ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ। ਔਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਡੇ ਫਾਰ ਲੈਫਟ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਡੇ ਵੀਰ ਸਰਦਾਰ ਗੁਰਬਖਸ਼ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਸੈਣੀ। ਜਦੋਂ ਗੁਰਬਖਸ਼ ਵੀਰ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਲੰਮਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਵਿਲੀਅਮਸ ਲੇਕ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਾਉਂਸਲਰ ਦੇ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਨਿਭਾਈਆਂ ਔਰ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਇੱਕ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸਮੈਨ ਦੇ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਸਕਸੈਸਫੁਲ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਅੱਜ ਇਹ ਫਲੀਟਵੁੱਡ ਪੋਰਟ ਕੈਲ ਤੋਂ ਚੋਣ ਮੈਦਾਨ 'ਚ ਆਏ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ। ਔਰ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਮੇਰੇ ਲਾਸਟ ਬਟ ਨਾਟ ਲੀਸਟ ਮੇਰੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਭਰਾ ਰਣਦੀਪ ਸਰਾਏ। ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਰੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਆਈ ਆ, ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਆਈ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਸਟੈਪ ਲਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਟੀਮ ਬਣ ਕੇ ਲਿਆ, ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਦੀ ਸਲਾਹ ਨਾਲ। ਜਿਵੇਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਦੇ ਇੱਕ 2 11, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹਰ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੋਢੇ ਨਾਲ ਮੋਢਾ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਚੱਲੇ ਆ। 3 ਵਾਰ ਮੈਂਬਰ ਪਾਰਲੀਮੈਂਟ 2015 ਤੋਂ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਹੁਣ ਸਰੀ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਤੋਂ ਚੋਣ ਮੈਦਾਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨੇ। ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀ ਅਗਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਮੈਂ ਛੋਟੇ ਵੀਰ ਰਣਦੀਪ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਹੂੰਗਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਪੋਲੀਟੀਕਲ ਪਰਸਪੈਕਟਿਵ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਂਝੀ ਕਰਨਗੇ। ਮੈਂ ਫਿਰ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਆਪ ਸਮੂਹ ਸਿੱਖ ਸੰਗਤ ਨੂੰ ਸਰੀ ਨਿਊਟਰਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜੀ ਆਇਆਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦੀ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਰਣਦੀਪ ਸਿੰਘ ਸਰਾਏ।
So essentially, what he was talking about there is just an oversight of his policy and where he's going forward. But more so, he was introducing a lot of the candidates from the local area, covering different regions of Surrey. And we already know that there was the transition with the Liberal Party when it came to Justin Trudeau's resignation and then Mark Carney coming in. It seems to have been a fairly smooth transition at this point, and now that the election is 6 days away, it looks like the party is pretty much in line. All the candidates are towing the party line. They are speaking a lot of the same language and a lot of the same talking points. So it's very consistent across the board. Now, somewhere that we need to look at that is whether or not they have the overall stability to lead the country. And I think that at this point, the polls are showing a confidence by Canadians in the Liberal Party to again take us towards the next 4 years or through the next 4 years, and to stand up against the U.S. tariffs, to stand up against the silliness that is, and we'll move that forward. And I do believe, as I said, that we're going to see a lot of the same policies moving forward that we've seen from the Liberals in the past. Now, with that said, of course, it's not without controversy for all parties, but again, at the end of the day, I think that that's where we're going to end up, and we'll have to watch and see. Once again, 6 more days and we will have potentially a new prime minister. But I think that, as I said, overall, I think the Liberals have got this one. We'll have to wait and see what happens, Angus.
Isn't it fascinating, James, that only a few months ago, we were talking about the Liberal Party languishing in the polls, and they were in real trouble. And it really, I think we just assumed that Poilievre was going to be the next Canadian Prime Minister. And we were talking about, oh God, what is this going to mean for the Sikh community? Because of course there is a great fear about what the Conservatives really represent and their connections, of course, with Modi's India. And yet here we are. As I said, a week is a long time in politics. Well, certainly things have really turned around in Canada. And it's just, I find it astonishing to hear now the Liberals really are potentially going to sweep, oh no, maybe that's too strong a word, but potentially grab the grand prize at the last minute once again. It looks like that Carney, of all people, could be, I was going to say India, there's a slip of the tongue, Canada's next Prime Minister. And, I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of Carney again, but as I say, it does slightly concern me. I think it's very clear for the Sikh community in Canada that the Liberal Party does appear to represent, other than obviously Jagmeet Singh, of the two main parties, the Liberals probably are the least worst party to get behind in terms of protecting the Sikh community. My only concern is, of course, Mark Carney and what he individually represents. Which direction is he going to take the Liberal Party? And I actually foresee, if he does indeed become the next Prime Minister, I can see there being a little bit of a...
Angus, I've got no audio from you here. Oh, you're back. Okay.
Yes, I can see. I can actually see some issues, some fractures appearing in the Liberal Party between, I think, Carney at the top and maybe his little entourage at the very top of the party and the rest of the party, because I can see him sort of trying to wrench the party more towards perhaps his own agenda. As I say, I'm very suspicious, and I individually believe that he has his own agenda in Canada, and I don't know if that agenda aligns with the Liberal Party as a general party. So I wonder then if there will be fractures moving forward if he does indeed win this election. And in fact, interestingly, if he doesn't win this election, this will be the real test. If Carney doesn't win this election, then it's very clear that the World Economic Forum, which I believe is behind his appointment, they will say, well, what's the point then of having Carney there? We need to turn our attention somewhere else, and maybe he will leave the Liberal Party and he actually might be removed from the Liberal Party. There's a prediction for you. Interesting times though, James. I think we'll watch this one with great interest as it unfolds.
Absolutely, Angus. And yeah, it's very possible that there will be some type of separation after the election. And as you said, some fracturing going on potentially down the road. And that's something that we'll watch for. And I think that right now, though, given the Trump talk and everything else, I do believe that they are trying to show a more united front than they have in the past. I think that's a part of really standing as a nation to fight back against the tariff talks and everything else. So we'll have to watch and see how that plays out, and whether or not Mark Carney is able to lead the troops, as they say. But speaking of leading the troops, now, of course, we know that he's a representative of the Liberal Party, and Mark Carney will be in town tomorrow night bringing the circus to town. So I will be there with the camera, so we'll see what happens there, and I'll ask him to send a special hello to Angus Scott in London. But with that said, Angus, of course, the controversy surrounding things over the past year that really have been set aside so much as what's in the news right now, of course, was the foreign interference and the transnational repression. And that had to do with a lot of people pointing fingers towards the Conservative Party of Canada and Pierre Poilievre. Now, let's not be fooled, though. There was some potential involvement by other candidates of other parties, so I'm not going to blame it all on the Conservative Party. However, big questions have recently come up in relation to another candidate here in the Surrey riding. This one is at the north end of Surrey in the Port Kells Fleetwood riding, and this has to do with Sukh Pander, and he has apparently shown up in pictures that are online with someone who is an Indian police officer who has risen in the ranks, even though he is accused of human rights abuses against Sikhs. And it is a very serious issue if there are, as reported, potential links in terms of his personal connections as well as possibly business connections between the two. So let's go down to take a look at a letter that was signed by all four of the letterheads here, and that was the Ontario Sikh Committee, or Gurdwaras Committee, the Sikh Federation of Canada, the World Sikh Organization Canada, and the British Columbia Gurdwaras Council. And they brought this concern directly to Mr. Pander and asked him directly, what is the situation here? And I thought we'd cover through the letter. There is an article above if you want to freeze your screen after and read it, that's fine. But essentially, it's just looking at the information here. And I will also bring up that Mr. Pander has not yet responded, and a copy of this was also sent to Pierre Poilievre, who has failed to respond at this point as well to the letter sent out. Now, it goes on to ask for an urgent response to public clarification regarding his ties to Parmaraj Umrangal, and I probably pronounced that wrong, and I apologize if I did, but hey, the guy's a human rights horrible guy, so I'm not too worried if I say his name wrong. But we're writing you on behalf of concerned members of the Sikh community in Surrey and across Canada. Recent public allegations and images have raised serious questions regarding your relationship with Paramarsh Umrangal, a senior Indian police officer who stands accused of grave human rights violations against Sikhs in Punjab. An undated photo circulating online shows you and him sharing a public stage and engaging in what appears to be a lighthearted exchange at an event in India. Since then, public allegations have emerged that you may also have personal or business ties with him. This has generated significant concern among the Sikh constituents, particularly in light of his troubling record. Human rights organizations, including the Punjab Human Rights Organization and the Majha Ex-Servicemen Human Rights Front, have documented his involvement in a campaign of extrajudicial killings, torture, and enforced disappearances targeting Sikh youth during the 1990s. On one such case, in 1994, it was relating to the extrajudicial killing of Baha Sukhpal Singh Kala Afghana, who was reportedly killed by him in a bounty hunting operation that involved falsifying Sukhpal Singh's identity to claim a cash reward used against Sikh guerrillas. Despite such allegations of human rights violations and crimes against humanity, he was continued to rise through the ranks of the Indian Police Service and was showered with gallantry awards. More recently, he was implicated in the 2015 Babel Callan police firing. For those here in Canada, we call that a shooting. They call it a firing, just so you understand what that term is there. Where he ordered forces to open fire on unarmed Sikh protesters. 2 Sikh youth were killed and many more injured while peacefully protesting the desecration of the Sri Guru Granth Sahib. And that, of course, we know is just deeply troubling. Given this context, your apparent proximity to him raises deeply troubling questions. While we acknowledge that political candidates are often subject to public scrutiny, these concerns are not about guilt by association. They are about transparency, accountability, and your commitment to human rights. We respectfully request that you publicly clarify the following. Number 1. Why did you appear on a public stage with an individual credibly accused of gross human rights abuses against the Sikh community? Number 2, do you or have you ever had any direct or indirect business or financial ties with him? Do you unequivocally condemn the torture, enforced disappearances, and extrajudicial killings inflicted on the Sikh community by the government of India? So those are the 3 questions that they've put forward to him to publicly answer. And I think that that is a very fair, very clear line of questioning to just get the basic answers, and everything else can be looked at after the basics are addressed. Now, as India's foreign interference transnational repression and disinformation campaigns continue to affect our communities here in Canada, it is more important than ever that federal candidates are forthcoming about their associations and clear in their stance on these issues. This is not a partisan matter. It is a matter of principle. As we approach the federal election on April the 28th, Sikh voters have the right to make an informed decision about who will stand against human rights abuses and transnational repression and who will stand silent. We urge you to respond publicly and unequivocally as early as possible. And again, that was signed by the British Columbia Gurdwaras Council, the Ontario Gurdwaras Committee, the Sikh Federation of Canada, and the World Sikh Organization of Canada. They sent a copy of this to Pierre Poilievre as the leader of the official opposition, as well as the leader of the Conservative Party, and yet he has failed to respond as well, which is very concerning when you look at the seriousness of the allegations against this individual. So again, Mr. Pander could very innocently have been at a public event there where he happened to be sharing a stage with somebody and trying to be, a gracious guest, so to speak, with other speakers. We don't know the context of why they were on stage together. We don't know the context of whether they are actually in a friendly relationship or if they have a business relationship at any point. So again, it's very, very important that this gets addressed before the polls on the 28th for the Sikh community, but I think even the larger community deserves to know the truth behind this, as we do not, condone such behavior by any of our MPs or elected officials to be supportive of anyone who is taking part in such atrocities, either in the past, currently, or into the future against any people around the world, Angus.
Indeed, and it is very difficult if you're a public figure, of course, to stay whiter than white in terms of who you mix with, because of course people at all these sorts of events do find themselves sharing the stage or sharing a platform with other people that they may not have a complete briefing about. They may not be fully aware of these other people, backgrounds and affiliations when they do share stages with these people, and mistakes do happen. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. However, it is absolutely imperative that every individual that stands for public office is held accountable for everything that they do and all their links and their political and otherwise affiliations. And if this guy does have an affiliation of any sort with somebody who is linked to human rights abuses, certainly back in the Punjab, yeah, he absolutely has to explain himself. And I think it is beholden on all politicians, whether here in the UK or in Canada or indeed in the US, is that they are held to account, and that any association with any controversial figures they need to explain away. Because of course, if people are standing for election in any election of any sort that are asking people to vote for them, they need to explain exactly what it is that they represent. And here is all about transparency. And here, of course, this is an issue that we talk a lot about, James, particularly with the impending elections in Canada, is how transparent is Canadian politics? How transparent is actually Western politics? And for example, we talked about Bob Blackman, our own Conservative, yes, another Conservative MP here in the UK, who has been seen on a regular basis platforming alongside RSS and well-known Hindutva supporters and Indians who are known to be affiliated with the RSS. So we have, again, the same issue with our own Conservative Party here and representatives here. So, James, I think it is very relevant that the Sikh community do absolutely press people like this guy to say, please explain yourself. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's a completely innocent mistake, but you've got to explain yourself and be open and be transparent, because that is the only way that democracy works. It's all about transparency and accountability, James.
Absolutely. And the Sikh Federation also brought forward a campaign to engage the candidates in 30 different Sikh diaspora heavy ridings, and that included, of course, Surrey. And what they did is sent out a questionnaire addressing issues such as transnational repression, foreign interference, and charter rights. And they went on, Balpreet Singh, who's the legal counsel for the World Sikh Organization of Canada, It clearly stated that this is a matter of principle. Candidates must be clear about where they stand on human rights and the safety of the community. Silence, again, is not an option. So I think that it is very clear. I think that they have been very gracious in how they've sent this letter out on this particular incident, in the fact that they weren't making accusations. They're asking very respectfully for clarification, giving them, as you said, the benefit of the doubt. In my thought, that's what the letter is, and giving them a chance just to explain that to the Sikh community and all Canadians, Angus. Well, we seem to have lost Angus there, a bit of technical issues, so hopefully he'll pop back in on the screen momentarily. At this point, there are still several events going on within the city of Surrey, the lower mainland of British Columbia, as well as province-wide, celebrating, again, the ongoing Sikh Heritage Month in British Columbia. There have been several events that we have had the honor to attend, and appreciate the invitations from the Sikh community, but also the openness and willingness to talk and to just really share the experience with them. Tomorrow night, in addition to the report with Mark Carney, I will have an interview with one of the groups that attended the Vaisakhi celebrations over the weekend, and that was one of the motorcycle clubs that is very involved in not only the motorcycle enthusiasts of British Columbia when it comes to riding, but also in terms of charitable endeavors and their philanthropy throughout the province of British Columbia to help others with, of course, we know the Sikhs are known for that and are famous for that, and it's such a built-in character of the Sikh community. But again, we'll speak with some of the representatives of the motorcycle club tomorrow that I was fortunate enough to interview while I was at the Vaisakhi celebration, so we'll bring that to you tomorrow night. In terms of other events, you can find it on the VaisakhiHeritageBC.ca website, and they have a great calendar of events there that will educate you on the events that have happened, the events that are upcoming, and also different areas of the Sikh heritage, and I think that is amazing. Coming up soon, there is actually a movie that's being released, and we will have reports on that next week. Because, of course, tomorrow night we've already got lots to cover. But again, next week we will have some special reports on other things coming up. And stay tuned, because I think that you'll be quite excited about what's coming up next week. So once again, folks, you are watching Perspectives here on Satellage TV, and it's an honor for both myself and Angus to be involved in this show. Over the last year, or almost a year anyway, we've brought a lot of different stories, a lot of history, a lot of current events to the screen here, and we try very hard to be accurate in our reportings and to bring stories that matter to the Sikh community. But also on top of that, of course, as we've said many a times, we really strive to build a bridge between the Sikh community and the other communities in which we all reside. And it is our sincere thoughts and appreciation for the Sikh culture, and our firm belief that through education and awareness, we can help to eliminate some of the stereotypes, as well as the racism and hatred that we see in our communities in this day and age. We know that there is a lot of polarization within political circles, within communities, within even between governments and geopolitical circles. But again, it is our goal to do our little part to raise more awareness about Sikh culture, about the history, about the beliefs, about the amazing work that Sikhs do for the world, not just locally, but around the globe for people in need, people who are impacted by poverty, by natural disasters, by wars, and all of those horrible things that happen out there. The Sikhs are always on the front line to help and stand proud and stand tall, shoulder to shoulder with those who are in need. So again, it's not about a caste system. It's not about looking down on people. It's about creating an environment and an understanding of equality, of acceptance, of giving someone a hand up and helping them to be the best who they can be. And that, again, has been an honor for Angus and I to bring these stories. So we always encourage you that if you have ideas that you would like us to, for us to research and bring to the screen to share with others, or if you have news stories that are of interest to the Sikh community that we haven't covered, by all means, make sure that you use the comment section. Leave your comments, whether you like the show, what we can change, what we can improve, and of course, story ideas and different topics that you would like to see us cover. You can always put those in the comments section and interact with us. And of course, they may end up on the show as we try to cover comments at the end of every episode to really involve our viewers, because without you, we wouldn't have a show. So that's very important to all of us at Satledge TV, especially to Angus and I. To be the English program on this channel. And we take that very seriously, that role. We take it very serious that we've been entrusted to be able to tell and share these stories with the wider audience. So again, don't be shy. Make sure that you let us know what your thoughts are, what we can do better, what we can improve on, and of course, what stories are important to you. You can also share with us historic events that have happened within the Sikh community or around the world that you would like us to cover, because we actually take great pleasure in researching and learning ourselves and bringing that knowledge to the screen, trying to sum it up. We could research, hundreds of pages of documents and information, and then we try to summarize it in a short story here on the program. So we hope that we do that justice in terms of, bringing that condensed version of what we learn to the screen. Again, if you are looking to help us to build a channel to keep growing, things that you can do to actually help us with the channel is to, of course, like the programs, to subscribe to our channel here, as well as hitting that little bell icon so you're notified when new episodes and new content are posted and shared. Those different things help push us up in the algorithms, but it also helps us to reach others and to expand our audience. With the expansion of the audience, of course, that helps our channel to grow. And as the channel grows, it just helps us to increase the production value of what we are doing. Once again, if you are also looking at, there used to be a spot on the YouTube channel where you could support financially the channel. That has disappeared for that monetization. So if you are interested in making a financial contribution to Satledge TV and to Perspectives, you can do so by just going into the description on this video, and you'll see a link tree. And that has links to various places where you can find Satledge TV, but you can also find a place to donate there, or just go over to satledgetv.com as well, and you can find information there as well on how to financially make a donation to Satledge TV. Every little bit helps and is appreciated to keep us going and to keep us being able to bring this show to you. So again, we appreciate all of the support from our viewers, and we encourage you to share the channel with your friends, with your family, with, your coworkers, or just anybody on the street. Just share the channel and try to work with us to get us up to 30,000 subscribers. We are about 26,000, just under, I believe. And to get us over that 30,000 mark would be just amazing to see. So again, if you're able to help to tell others about this show, we would greatly appreciate that, and share it not only on Facebook, but all of your social channels. Share the show, share the link, and invite others to subscribe to it. That would be appreciated. We seem to be having a technical issue for Angus here tonight, but that is okay. It happens. We know that we've experienced little technical glitches as we've grown, but we definitely hope that we've gotten better and that as the channel just continues to grow, we will as well. So it is Angus and I putting this together. We do our research. We don't have research assistants. We don't have producers. We put the show together and bring it to you. You got to give Angus credit. He does the editing and the posting and that. So he puts a great deal of blood, sweat, and tears, as we say, into the program every day to make sure that once we've finished recording it, that it makes it out to the audience. So again, that's Angus's amazing work. And I know that we sometimes get comments on the graphics, on the thumbnails for our videos and for the show. And so that, again, is the incredible work of Angus over in London. He creates those and gets that packaged up for the viewers. And so send him a special thank you on the comment section for that. Yeah, he puts in a lot of work, so it's greatly appreciated on all sides. With that, though, folks, I think that we will sign off here. We're going to miss out on the on our comment section tonight and our feedback. But again, you've been watching Perspectives on Satellage TV. Thank you for tuning in. We will hopefully have Angus back tomorrow night. Well, obviously we will. And he'll bring you the stories that you've missed. And or he may edit them in after before or after this is done, but before it goes out to you. So you may still catch them. If not, then we'll have them tomorrow night. Again, make sure you tune in because we will have Prime Minister Mark Carney's speech and appearance in Surrey, British Columbia on the show tomorrow night. I'll capture footage and bring it back for our amazing viewers. So thank you again for watching. Angus is off screen right now, but thank you on his behalf for tuning in. Again, Angus is coming from London, England in the UK, and I am here in the Vancouver, Canada studios bringing you Perspectives. If you want to email instead of leaving comments in the comment section, you can always send them a message at satellagetv.com. Have a great night, everyone. Stay safe.